thing's heavy. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, and in this video I'm going to be doing something a little bit different because it's something I really have never done before, and it seems pretty fun. We're going to be doing a little bit of PC archaeology on this very dirty and dusty mystery PC. Okay, so before we fully dig into this mystery PC and what's going on here that's really nasty and dirty, yes, I'm wearing gloves because I kind of learned my lesson with the 5160. That was part of that IBM Trio video that I did that had the mouse nest in it. Yeah, kind of learned my lesson. I don't like testing nasty stuff after that. I don't know what I'm going to find in here. I want to talk about the very strange timeline and sequence of events that kind of occurred with getting this thing, because it's not going to fully match up with the videos that I uploaded. If you watched the RLL hard drive testing video, you may have seen this dirty unit sitting right outside this door, propped up on top of another PC. And that's because the PC Beige lot video, the previous video I just did, I had that video recorded first. I was actually done editing that, and it was rendered and in the process of being uploaded to YouTube when I was putting all those computers away, and I had decided, hey, the K-Pro's here, I want to make some floppies for some of my vintage PCs. Oh crap, the floppy drive died. Oh hey, well there's a floppy drive here, and hey, there's this RLL drive, I want to test it. Because that was a really quick test and off-the-cuff video, I was able to just edit that really quick, upload it, and post that first. The day I went to record that, I went to my local scrapyard, and I was getting rid of a bunch of junk stuff that wasn't even computer related. Some of it was, but on top of a pallet that they had just gotten in, which was mostly Windows Vista era workstations and some battery units out of giant server racks, sat this very dirty computer. So I brought this down here during my lunch break. After I got off work, I recorded that RLL hard drive test video. That video went up first, then the Beige video, and now I'm recording this. So it's a very weird timeline here. And I was kind of hoping I could have had found this before that video went up. And yeah, I guess I probably could have, just said screw it and re-uploaded it, but there's no fun in that. So let's take a close look at this thing, and well, then we'll see what's on the inside, because I'm really curious. Okay, and here we have the entire front panel. This thing's massive. Hey, it's from Iowa. Okay, so we have a what appears to be a kind of a bog standard XT AT era PC case. We've got 3.5 inch drive here, probably 1.44 megabyte with a mismatched bezel. I kind of wonder. We'll more likely find out, but I'm assuming that this died at some point, so they popped in just a universal one, or just a generic one. I'm assuming a 1.2 meg floppy drive, because I'm assuming this is going to be a late 80s machine. And knockout that's still there. God, this thing is just dirty. I'm not going to clean this in this video. I just want to see what's in here, and if everything's okay, maybe power it up. Question, I don't know. Anyway, we have a generic unknown speed CD-ROM drive. I'm assuming quad, maybe 8 speed. That seems to be most of the ones that I find are 8-speed plus, so who knows, maybe that's a dual speed. That'd be great. Then we have what looks like a hard drive, or it might just be a hard drive like carrier, like for these older drives. But yeah, I kind of wonder what's under that sticker. We have the PC lock. We have a button, which I'm assuming is reset. Power, turbo, but no button, and a hard drive. So sweet. Nothing too much on this side except for this awesome chunky power switch. Oh yeah. Some tape here, and the top is, I don't know how well you can see that, but that thing is just nasty dirty. Hence the gloves. Okay, on the back side, you can kind of see why I find this thing so interesting. We have some sort of VGA card. We have a sticker that says monitor, which I'm assuming means monitor, and LPT1, so I'm assuming there was some sort of multifunction card here. Looks like some sort of modem card, a sound card of some kind. Like almost, is that a sound blaster? We'll find out. Some label COM1, but it's gone. COM2, LPT2 is gone. A bunch of cards in there. Looks like just a serial breakout cable, the AT keyboard connector. Some unused knockouts. All the screws are gone. Looks like the screws for the power supply have been replaced. And it looks like it's just a generic and very dusty. Ew. I don't know if I'm actually going to power this thing on. I might do that in a way different video. But yeah, just generic XT-AT air power supply with the external monitor hookup. So, interesting. And then this side has absolutely nothing at all. Alright. Okay. Let's see what we got. Oh, we have a mess. Ooh, I see a lot of parts everywhere. What happened in here? Okay. Okay, so we've got a bunch of loose cards. 3 that are at least in their slots, but they're not bolt screwed down or nothing. We have a PC cooler fan. And yeah, that's definitely not the original board. That's kind of a bummer. I'm kind of curious what that is though. All right, let's just start to have something just sitting here. Ooh, a 256K Coast module. Huh. Okay, that might be useful in the future. Got a kind of a little dirty and dusty S3 Trio 64 Plus. Okay. Serial parallel card. Wonder if that was in here at some point. Yeah, I bet that was in here at some point. But that's not like a generic one, is it? That almost looks like it's a IBM or Compaq maybe? I don't know, I don't see any IBM numbers on it. Cables everywhere. That's even the wrong screw. It wasn't even attached very well. Let's start with this card here. We have a Diamond Speedstar Pro. Oh, okay. With not a lot of, either not a lot of RAM or consolidated RAM. I find it's interesting that's a 16-bit ISA from 93. Next up, we have a kind of a generic, yeah, just a Texas Instruments modem card. You know, if I could find some way to actually like, I'm not smart enough to be able to do it. I've been told before on like some, you know, every time I ask this question, is there a way to network this stuff with these old modems? Oh, you need to like a VoIP setup and this kind of stuff. And it's like, I'm not smart enough setting those up. This is the sound card. Well, I thought that was a Sound Blaster, but I guess it's not. It's 8-bit, whatever it is. I don't see anything that says creative on it. I'm not sure what you are. I mean, it's definitely an 8-bit sound card. Maybe a clone of something? That's almost too many chips to be like an ad-lib clone. Especially for, well, look at that board. It's got PCI slots and stuff, so it's at least a 486 or higher. Well, no. With the Coast module, this has got to be socket 5 or higher. So I don't think that's an ad lib. It might just be a generic like Sound Blaster 16 clone or... No, wait, it can't be a 16 clone because it'd be 16-bit. This is only 8-bit. Alright. I don't see any RAM. Oh, that's a problem. Don't know how well you can see it, but the PC or the RAM slot for the PC style RAM is missing both of its clips. We are an ATC 1020. All right. Let's see what's under. Let's see what's under this heatsink. Like, are you a socket 5 or are you a socket 7? I love these old style. Ooh, that thing's actually still free. And that awesomely white thermal grease. Oh, cool. Well, that's a first for me. A Cyrix 6x86 LP150 OP 120 megahertz. Really? I don't think I've ever come across one of these yet. Okay, cool. Yeah, bummer. It's a socket 7. It's kind of, I guess some small part of me was hoping that was a socket 5. And the reason for that is I don't have any socket 5s that aren't OEM. I was kind of hoping to find one someday. So, anyway, so here's my thought process with this. I don't know what it was used for. So I kind of want to take that Iowa sticker off. Maybe it'll say what chassis this is. So since this is kind of a late 80s case, so I don't think this was in here originally, obviously. So I think what happened, especially with the 8-bit sound card and the 16-bit ISO card, I think what happened was this thing was built at some point in the late 80s, maybe very early 90s, you know, 286, 386, 46. And then as time went on, they kind of realized, oh, well, we can just, you know, upgrade just the board, and they just swapped over all the main parts. And then it got to the point where they just couldn't upgrade it anymore. I mean, I guess there was some, I guess it could have went to Super Socket 7. I think those were the last ones with the AT-style keyboard. But at that point, you know, it was probably more cost effective just to build a whole new machine. So maybe for almost, I don't know, 10 years maybe, this thing probably just had its main board updated. And maybe that's why that PCI card was in here. Maybe they had bought it, put it in here with the intention of upgrading it. They never did, and they just, you know, were throwing stuff in, because it was just kind of ramshackle through in there. All right, anyway, I want to take a look. I want to take all those drives and stuff out. I want to see what's in there. I'm just kind of curious about a couple of these parts. Thing is, some of these screws look a little rounded and stripped, like they've been taken in and out of several times, which makes sense if this thing was. Oh, there's a hard drive in there. Oh, sweet. We'll deal with that later. We have a little bit of a dusty Hitachi CDR 7830, February of 96. So I'm gonna have to look that up and see what speed this is. I'm betting like a quad or 8 speed. But Hitachi, interesting. Yeah, I'm definitely not gonna power this thing on. This hard drive though isn't even hooked up. There's no cables to it. It's not even, wasn't even screwed in. So this might be an original drive to the chassis. I have a Seagate ST3491A. We are a lovely 428.1 megabyte. That 0.1 makes it. But we have some plastic rails. I could use those on the 5170. I could. Because yeah, that's an old enough drive where it's actually got the jumper on the front for these carriers. Sweet. And none of these screws are matching. All right. Yep, just a Sony MPF 520-1. I think that's just a standard 3.5 or 1.4 meg drive. Kind of an excessive carrier. But I'm so glad that all the drives are here, because now I have all the rails that, should I decide to do something with this chassis, and that's stripped. Violence. Oh, there's only one. Okay. Maybe. Oh, there's another hard drive. There's another hard drive right underneath this. I didn't even see that. Oh, sweet. All right, what do we have here? We have a, 1.2 drive, a WD-380 type 1711. Cool. That actually looks like an IBM one, doesn't it? From 5170. Definitely dusty. Don't know if it'll, motor turns. So who knows? We'll have to see if that works at some point. And then we have another drive. This one's actually plugged in. We have a Seagate ST51270A, a 1.2 gigabyte drive. Interesting. With a completely different screw. Why are they all different screws? Oh, that's a dirty, dusty one. But it's a IDE drive. Fast ATA2. Ooh. It's a Seagate. Okay. Oh, that's actually, that's dusty. I can't even pick it all up. Oh, I'm gonna have to vacuum my computer room, or my game room now. Dang it. All right. Awesome. All right, I'm kind of curious what's under this. Ferrogas. That's not a PC case company. Okay, so this was actually a very interesting PC archaeology. I'm very intrigued by just the eclectic hodgepodge of parts that are in here. I mean, there are so many splitters and adapters in here, which I could actually use in that 5170. I've actually been needing stuff like this to add a 3.5-inch drive. Future video. But yeah, it's just a weird collection of parts. We've got, you know, PCI card. We've got a PCI board of socket 7. A weird 8-bit sound card. I'm gonna do research on the stuff I don't know, especially that sound card. I'm kind of curious what that is. But I'm kind of curious by what exactly was going on with this machine, because, like I said, it's got a very odd collection of parts in here, between the CD-ROM, the hard drives, the floppy drives that looks like it's mismatched bezel, the Cyrix chip, which I have never come across one yet, surprisingly. All the ones I've come across on socket 7s or OE socket 5s have been the Pentiums, the classic ceramic chip Pentiums. I've not ever come across a Cyrix in the wild like this. So, and I know Cyrix is not the best CPU out there in the world. It has its problems, it has its faults. I've been hearing that all over the place on forums. But I'm interested to at least check it out, you know. As for this machine here, I can't really say for definite what happened. This power supply looks like it's been replaced, because there's a sticker here that says 48-hour burn-in test. I have kind of a weird theory about what might have happened here. Because this is from a company, it's a corporate thing. I think what happened was at some point in the, I'm gonna say mid to late 80s, I'm gonna say 80s, 88, 87, nice, you know, middle ground number. This computer was probably built for a corporate reason, office computer, whatever the case may be. It probably had a, you know, 8088 clone or a Turbo XT clone, maybe 286 towards the tail end. I think there was some 286 clones about the late 80s. Built originally, maybe, you know, had a, it says monitor and LPT parallel on the back. So I think this thing might have had like a CGA or Hercules card in it, or MDA card, you know, one of the three. I mean, business, I'm assuming. And then at some point, you know, maybe needed a little bit more, you know, oomph or whatever. So, hey, boss, the new 386 is out. Hey, why don't we just throw the board in the chassis? It'll fit. And then, you know, maybe 40 or 46, one of the two. And then, hey, you know, the new Pentium's out. And maybe at some point they just moved all the cards over. Like, hey, we don't need to buy a new video card. We have this ISA card. We don't need a new sound card or a modem card. It's all ISA. It'll just work. And then maybe at some point they intended to put a PCI card in here, or maybe this has nothing to do with this machine. You know, maybe these two cards here, this serial parallel and this VGA card here, might have nothing to do with this machine. Maybe this was the case was open. Whoever was throwing this into the bin at the e-waste facility just, you know, tossed them in there and closed it up. You know, so these cards might not have anything to do with it, because they're actually surprisingly clean compared to the rest of the machine. So who knows? But yes, I'm going to be doing a little bit of research on this weird sound card. I'm going to take some pretty good high-res photos of it. It does have an FCC number. You know, maybe I'll be able to find it pretty easy. But what's weird is that it's got a CD-ROM audio header on it. So I'm not sure if I want to say it's an ad-lib clone being 8-bit, because I don't know of many sound cards that are 8-bit. Most were, you know, like the Sound Blaster 16s and the clones and that kind of stuff were 16-bit. So, you know, maybe it's just an ad-lib clone that somebody just decided, hey, we don't want to consolidate chips. We want to put all the chips on it, you know. But yeah, I'll go do some research on that. And then at some point, I'm going to individually test all these parts, not in this video, because I want to blow the dust out of this power supply. I want to clean up this board a little bit more, see if there's any more damage on it. Do some research, see what other chips could go on it, how much RAM, what kind of RAM. I'm going to have to put 72-pin SIMs because that DIMM slot's actually cracked. I can see it right here. And then, you know, clean up these drives, see what works, see what doesn't work, and then, well, find something to do with this chassis because it's actually way too neat to not. So, yeah. I'm going to do some research, and then I will be right back. Okay, so apparently, everybody, guess what? When I say the phrase, hey, I'm going to go research this, and I'll be right back, that's actually code for I'm going to get distracted by something, completely forget to do that, and go about editing the video as if all the recording's done. Oh, man. So, anyway, it's been a few days. And there's been some really interesting developments about this machine, and that I was completely wrong on everything. Kinda. So let's talk about that real quick. So while I was editing the video, this video here, I decided, hey, I want to know what chassis this is. And weird things have happened. So I took a picture of the front cover and I posted it on a vintage computer group that I'm on Facebook. And I just simply said, hey, does anybody recognize this generic case? Just in case. You never know, because that's basically what it's down to, is the retro community, if anybody remembers it. Because unfortunately, not a lot of companies kept records of anything back then. And I got a couple comments that, oh, I remember seeing chassis like that, coming out, that we ordered out of Hong Kong or Taiwan and this and that. And then one guy mentioned, hey, that kind of looks identical to this computer here. And he sent me an eBay listing of an Everix EX1800. And I was like, hey, the front cover of that is identical, except this, mine had more drives. And then I was going through my footage and I noticed something. That sticker on the back, guess what it says? That this is an Everix, or it was, an Everix EX1800i. So now I have a pinpoint exact know of what this is and when it was sold. So I was actually partially right when I said this thing was from the late 80s. Where I was wrong was that this was not a custom built machine. This was, the company bought this to use it as a main machine and then had ripped out the main guts and installed a socket 7 or maybe 486 and then socket 7 or whatever motherboard in here, which is the irritating part. This thing originally either came with a 286 or 386, which really is kind of a bummer because I don't have any working 386 machines in my computer collection. So the fact that this had one and I was this, and it was basically this close to having one, kind of a bummer. But at the same time, I now have a chassis that is set up for anything from XT all the way up to, I think Super Socket 7 was the last system to use AT power supplies and AT keyboards. But that's the bummer, is that this was at one point a 2 or 386 machine. So yeah, it's just, I don't know how I missed it. I should have paid more attention to that, but I guess that's my own fault. Anyway, and now for the interesting and exciting part, should this thing work, which I don't see why it wouldn't. This sound card I pulled out of here. Now, I wasn't fully wrong in assuming that that was a sound blaster from the I.O. I mean, that's very sound blaster, even though, yes, I have seen other sound cards in pictures with the volume wheel. It didn't match any sound blaster from the pictures, and the serial number on the back didn't come up with any creative number. And the date code of 93 I thought was kind of strange that, it'd be a 8-bit clone of any card during the early 90s like that, when most of the time they were Sound Blaster 16 clones. But I was actually on the right track. I boiled down to me typing the FCC number, and this thing has gone through so many names. Apparently this is just a generically it's known as the AV202P3, which, amongst several of the names it's had, includes Media Concept 2.0 and Master Boomer. There's no specific knowing of what exactly this card is, but it is essentially a clone of the Sound Blaster Pro 1.5 or 2.0, possibly even the Pro 1.0. I haven't fully figured that out yet. There's only a couple forum things mentioning this, but a couple of forums do mention this thing just utilizes the set blaster driver that you can type into the autoexec.bat and it'll just initialize it. So I'm kind of thinking about popping this into my IBM 5170 instead of that clone card. I mean, I know we're replacing a clone with a clone, but since I'm not utilizing most of the features on that card with it being 16-bit, I'm just using it as an ad-lib card. This being a Pro 2.0 would have been a really good upgrade, if it is a 2.0 anyway, really good upgrade to an IBM 5170, especially in the late 80s, very early 90s. So I'm going to be testing this card to see if it works, and then it's going to go in there at some point. But anyway, thank you all very much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you have any information about any of the parts I pulled out of here, ranging from this AV202P3 clone sound card, like what it actually is a clone of, the Sound Blaster Pro line anyway. If you have any information about any of the other parts I pulled out of here, or actually, if you guys have any information about what the Everix EX1800 used to have in here, like any personal anecdotes about it, I'd love to hear about it, because, finding specific information about a lot of these old machines, it's deep diving in forums. And I've dug through a few and I couldn't find too much except for, being 286 or 386. It is a bummer that stuff was ripped out of here and replaced with a later socket 7. Because I was kind of hoping I had the original motherboard in it now that I know what it is, because I don't have a 386 of any kind. Kind of also bummed it wasn't a socket 5, because because I also don't have one of those. That's not OEM. If you guys have any thoughts on what I could do with this chassis, obviously, yes, I could try and track down the original Everix board, but I've seen some of the prices on those boards on eBay, and that's a big old case of no. But yeah, I could throw like a Super Socket 7 in here, or I don't think that new XT that LGR did a build on a while ago, I don't think that has an AT power keyboard plug. Plus with the CX or CF card built in, I don't think it'll actually fit in an AT chassis, which is a bummer. But yeah, if you guys have any thoughts about what hardware I could throw in this chassis to make some sort of weird build, put it down in the comments, and we'll have to see what kind of neat stuff I might be able to put in here. And that being said, again, thank you all for watching this video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching.